All right, everybody, welcome into another live edition of the Patriots Beat Podcast here on the CLNS Media Network. I am Mike Kadlick, joined, as always, by 98.5 The Sports Hub's Alex Barth. A relatively slow-ish news weekend, Patriots-wise, NFL-wise. I guess the one thing we could
Yeah.
bring up quickly is Odell Beckham Jr. signs with the Ravens, so that's an interesting one. Thought that he could have potentially been a Patriots fit, but we'll touch on everything, all that. But what we're going to do tonight, as some of you probably know, as you saw on the Bird app, the old Twitter, is we're going to review all of your mock drafts. So I tweeted out this afternoon that we want you to submit to us all your mock drafts, and we will go rapid fire, take a look at as many as we can over the next hour. There's a ton, so thank you guys. We appreciate it. The one thing we'll say is that we are going to go, rather quickly here, review a couple picks from each. For example, let's say Zay Flowers, who we all know and love, is picked at pick 14. We're not going to talk about Zay Flowers getting picked at 14 every single time. But what we're going to do is go through as many as possible, give some feedback, and you guys can obviously let us know what you guys think in the chat, and we'll make it as interactive as we can. So thank you for your submissions, and we will do, like I said, we'll get to as many as possible. One thing I want to mention is that this show is powered by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and right now you can sign up at FanDuel.com/Boston, and you'll receive $200 in bonus bets on us here at CLNS. Quick, sad gambling story. I bet Brooks Koepka to win the Masters this weekend. He was a leader through 3 days, 3 rounds, and then he crumbled on Sunday. I didn't win any money. However, if I did sign up and make the bet, even if I lost, I would have got $200 in bonus bets. All you got to do, FanDuel.com/Boston. Alex, what did you think of the Masters before we...
Well, I had John Rahm, so I was thrilled.
There you go.
Leave it at that.
Yeah, good stuff. I actually, you know what? I will say I did also have John Rahm in a little promo that FanDuel gave out. It was boosted odds, so that made up for it a little bit, but Brooks is 37-1. Tough bid, but let's do it. Let's get into it. Thank you again to FanDuel, FanDuel.com/Boston. Get your $200 in bonus bets. All right, Alex. So what I'll do is share my screen, and I bookmarked all of our mock drafts that we got today, so we'll just go right on through them. Actually, I'm sorry. Odell. Let's talk about Odell. What do you think about Odell going to Baltimore before we get going here?
I think it's probably a sign that Lamar's going back there, and the two of them have been hanging out, right, in recent days, and maybe that's, signing Odell's the olive branch the Ravens needed. At that price, $15 million guaranteed for a 30-year-old receiver coming off 2 ACL tears who hasn't played in a year. No thanks. No thanks. I'm fine the Patriots passed on him, and I still think it's Jerry Judy or bust.
Yeah, I think so too. Didn't make a lot of sense. Too much money guaranteed for someone who, like you said, is way too injury prone. So relatively easy news, like we said. So let's get into the mock drafts. Here we go. Let me pull up my screen. All right. We'll start. I'm just going to scroll through and kind of go as we can. We'll start with this quick 3-player one. There's different ways you can do it on PFF, but our friend Almendros NFL went with Joey Porter at 14, Matthew Bergeron at 46, and Tucker Kraft at 76. Interesting. I think right now on FanDuel, cornerback is the favorite to be the Patriots' first round pick. I like Joey Porter here. I know you're not as high on Bergeron. Tucker Kraft, interesting pick at tight end. I don't know. What do you think?
Porter would be a great pick. Bergeron, I know he's listed as a tackle on PFF, and I think some people maybe picked him because they saw him as the last tackle or the highest rated tackle on the board. I think he's a guard. He's going to be a guard in the NFL, so you don't fill that need. And Tucker Kraft's, and by the way, I think that's something the Patriots will recognize. Tucker Kraft's an interesting pick at 76. Chance that he's the best player available. They haven't met with him. He does fill that tight end need. Wouldn't be my favorite pick. I'd be interested to see who else is still on the board, but not a bad one by any means. But yeah, Bergeron to me, I saw a couple of people take Bergeron high and take him as like the tackle. I don't think he's that guy just because he's the best listed tackle left on PFF. You're better off to me with a guy like Tyler Steen or Jalen Duncan or Blake Freeland. I still think Bergeron's going to be a guard in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's high. I also think as far as Tucker Kraft, I think he's going to be a good tight end. But this class is stacked. I don't think 76 is necessarily high for a tight end, but at that point, I would rather grab something else at 76 if you haven't got one yet, and then maybe wait for another guy like like a Zach Kuntz or somebody else like that. That's just
Sure.
my opinion there. All right, let's keep rolling. Blake. By Blake Williams. Let's see if we can scroll in here. All right, so Blake here did what we did last week, and he went Zay Flowers at the first pick in the draft, and then traded back up for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yep.
I think that's a slam dunk, and we talked about it last week. And surprisingly, last week, Alex, we were kind of skeptical that people wouldn't like our draft as much. People loved it, and so interesting. Which again, I saw you and Evan going back and forth too. That it's weird when. It's not a good sign when everybody likes your mock. But
it's unsettling.
It is unsettling. But I like it here. But again, you're waiting on defense in this one. And out of 1, 2, 3, 4, out of your top 5 picks, 4 of them on offense. Which I guess that's a need, but I don't know. Go.
Yeah, and look, I could see them doing something like this. Obviously, the trade down, trade up, Flowers and Gibbs, we've talked about that. It's probably a little high for Luke Schoonmaker overall, but there's a lot about his game the Patriots would reasonably like. I could see them reaching for a player like him. Tyler Steen as well. My one, and I like some of the guys he took later, goes with the Shrine Bowl, DTR, Mafi, the guard from UCLA, Antonio Mafi, Mo Diabate, like good picks, Shrine Bowl picks, guys they're going to be familiar with, comfortable with. I think Corey Trice is a very logical Patriots pick. Big, gifted athlete. Hybrid defensive back. He's listed as a corner here, but I think he's probably more of a corner safety.
Yeah.
The one pick here, or 2 picks I would sort of push back on. And overall, Blake did his research here. It's a good draft, and I like some of the trades as well. Garrett Williams, to me, is a slot corner at 5'10". I love his game. He's going to be good in the NFL. I just think they're going to be looking for more size. So where do you take him at 85 right there at the end of the third round? There's some bigger corners that will be on the board. I wonder if they'd prefer. And then kind of on the flip side, Ivan Pace, very productive. They'll like that. But I think he's like 5'10", 220, tiny. Something like that. They don't like small linebackers generally. And there's been a guy like this in every draft, I feel like the last couple of years at the linebacker position. It's like, man, that's the guy they need. They just don't take him. I feel like Pace is that guy this year. The production is really the only reason to me he's in the conversation for the Patriots. But I shouldn't even say push back on the Pace pick. It's not that much of a trend breaker. Garrett Williams is the one I look at and say, I don't see it. Outside of that, Blake did a very good job here. Blake did his homework.
Yeah, I agree. Steen makes a ton of sense, especially at 98. If they can get him at 98, they're lucky, to be honest. I think we've taken him at 76 at one point. I think it makes a ton of sense with the Alabama connection and O'Brien. The other one, you talked about it, but Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the Shrine Bowl connection. It came out today that the Patriots met with Louisville's Malik Cunningham. So that's another sort of project type quarterback towards the back end of the draft that I think they could take a chance on. DTR at 152 here. It feels a little high, but at the end of the day, I think they could make that happen, or they would do something like that. And he's just going to continue to skyrocket up boards because he's had a decent pre-draft process. So yeah, that's what I think there. Let's move on to Casey. All right. Jackson Smith-Njigba 14, Julius Brents 46. I love. That's a home run if you can make it happen. You're waiting on tackle with Wanya Morris, but I love JSN, and it came out today too that from who's the Senior Bowl guy? Why can't I think of his name?
Jim Nagy.
Yeah, Jim Nagy. Jim Nagy said that the media is a lot higher on these receivers in this draft class than NFL teams are, and Nagy suggested that JSN might be the only first-round wide receiver. So,
well, okay, so hang on, because this is an important distinction. That's not what he said. He said JSN is the only receiver teams have a first-round grade on. Okay. That doesn't mean he's going to be the only one that goes in the first round. There are first-round picks that aren't first-round talents, and there are first-round talents who aren't first-round picks. It can go both ways. So I think when you talk about, in opposite directions, the wide receiver and cornerback positions in this draft, you're going to see some of that.
Yeah, fair point. But I think JSN fits. We've talked about it as a little bit of an overlap with Juju Smith-Schuster, but I still could definitely see them going with JSN at 14. And at the end of the day, I do like the fit. Andrew Voorhees, we've talked about here too. That's a good spot for him. He tore his ACL at the combine. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So round 4, 117. That sounds like a correct slot for him. This is another person, like you said, who did their homework and kind of understands that.
Yep.
But I like that pick there too.
Yeah, the only one I wonder about is Ethan Evans. I just in a year where there's so many good punters, are they going to go with a D2 kid who, when they were at the Shrine Bowl, they worked with the other guy. They worked with Michael Turk there. So besides that, I mean, I don't love Herbig. Like he's fine. I think that there's some edge talent on day 3 that they don't need to rush into that pick. But if you get the extra top 100, so be it. But if they come away with Njigba and Smith and Njigba and Brent's 1 and 2, they're in great shape.
Yeah, cooking with gas right there. I agree. Someone in the chat just said you came away with the wrong Oklahoma tackle, talking about Anton Harrison instead of Wanya Morris, which, hey, both of them are solid. I would... I don't know. We'll definitely get to Anton Harrison through here in a minute. Here we go. With trades. All right, so where is pick 14?
It's in that second one. This is set up weird.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So they traded 14 to Chicago.
They traded down from 14 to get a second, a future first, and a future second, which is about right. And then back up to 18. And they traded a future first in the current. It's a lot of maneuvering. Like, it's not impossible. They come away with a couple good players here. I really like the combination of Ringo and Rush. And then Corey Trice, they really only need one corner because they have depth there. I don't think they're going to use multiple top 100 picks on corners. They're probably good in that regard. But, if they grab either of those players, they're in good shape. Also, it's a little high for Deuce Vaughn, but I guess they went tackle corner right off the bat. To me, this is a team, if this is their draft, this is a team that does not believe in Mac Jones at all. This is a team that is trying to win the game this year by running the football and playing defense and is loading up on picks next year in order to try to draft a quarterback. That's what this draft would tell me.
I also wonder if Paris Johnson makes it to 18, depending on how the board falls. That feels a little late for him. But I love Darius Rush. I think Ringo would be a steal at 53 too. The corners,
I like them both individually. It's just both is a little weird.
Yeah, a little weird and a little weird. Again, placement for both of them, but not bad. Kuntz, your guy Kuntz is there at 118 too. All right, moving on. Let's go with all pots, no pans at Nikki Potts. All right, here we go. Zay Flowers at 24. They trade 56 and 24 to get up to 14 to take Zay Flowers.
Wait. That's backward. How are they trading up to 14?
Oh, I'm sorry. They traded back.
That's a 24.
From 14.
That's a 24.
Sorry. Okay. Okay. I think, again, maybe I'm looking too much into Nagy's report today, but I feel like Flowers could be there at 24 if people aren't valuing wide receivers as high. But I could also see the Patriots taking Flowers at 14 and just calling it there.
The important thing to remember is all it takes is one team to think Zay Flowers is a top 15 pick and he's a top 15 pick, right?
Right.
So I don't think he's going to fall that far. 24 is probably around his floor, 24, 25, 26, somewhere in that range. Where I think the Ravens pick at 22, that area. I could totally see them moving down, though, in that regard. I'd agree with that. Again, this is another one where I still think you don't come away with this. You're coming away where you're counting on Trent Brown and Riley Reiff to be your tackles for the season. Matthew Bergeron's probably a guard. Maybe you try him at tackle, but I think long-term, by the end of the year, we'd be talking about him as a potential Mike Onwenu replacement.
Yeah.
Laporta's a nice addition. Certainly, kind of they can do some different things with him. There's a role for him in Bill O'Brien's offense. It's probably a little bit early. I wonder if at this point, so they end up with 56 and 57, and I think he picked up some extra fourths too.
Yeah.
Package one of those seconds and some of those fourths and move up and get Darnell Washington at that point. We haven't talked a lot about Carl Brooks or Dorian Williams. I like Brooks. They're just not a big, small school edge rusher team.
Right.
So, and he's always there atop these PFF mock drafts. Love Moro Ojimo. It's a great pick. He would be a great fit here. Another Shrine Bowl guy. And Is there more further down?
Yeah,
Let's
there's
see
more.
here.
Oh yeah, long one. Oh, and they get Hopkins.
Oh, geez. There were a lot of drafts we got where people made like 15, 16 picks. And I don't
Yeah.
know, like, you guys just want to get all the players you like if you're trying to impress us with how many players you know. I say this all the time when we do our mocks, right? The Patriots in 3 of the last 4 years have made exactly 10 picks. The year they didn't, they made 8. And that was the year impacted by COVID where it was really tough to scout people. So 10's kind of that magic number between 8 and 10.
Yeah.
If you want to go 11, maybe 12 if you really work out some deals. But this is, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
13.
That's
I just counted.
14 players when you add Hopkins.
Right.
They're not going to have a draft with this much volume. It's just you're drafting. Obviously, not everybody you draft is going to make the team, right? We see it all the time. 7th round picks get drafted and they get put, they get cut. Maybe they get moved to the practice squad, but every player you draft should have a shot at making the team. And when you draft this many players, it's really hard to do that. If you're going to do a draft like this, I would say a guy like Andrew Voorhees, a guy like JL Skinner from Boise State, these guys that we know are going to come in on NFI, redshirt their first year, not take up a roster spot. You got to have one. If you want to make like 14 picks, 15 picks, you got to have a couple of those guys in your draft because you just don't have the spaces to roster everybody. If you do it like this, they'll go out and get UDFAs at that point if they really feel like they need that many players.
Right. This feels like one of those buzzword player drafts where you just grab all the guys that we've heard make sense, right? Like Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Corsack and Mafi and Blackman, who was a Shrine Bowl guy, Ajomo, Bergeron, Flowers, and Hopkins, right? Some of them make sense. All of them coming in at once, probably not. But again, just a lot of players. But I like the beginning. I like Zay Flowers, man.
So,
I really like that
by
pick.
the way, here's the Patriots picks the last 10 years, going backwards from last year: 10-8, 10-10, 9-4, 9, 11-9. So that 9 to 10 range, maybe push it to 11. Their average is 8.9. It's really like 9.5 because it was the year they had 4 picks. They lost one because of Deflategate. They then traded one for Brandon Cooks. Like, you throw that year out. That year's the outlier. I think it's closer to like 9.5. That's I'd say 9 to 11 is kind of the number you want to be around for total picks for them.
Right. All right. Let's allow. This is a long. No. All right. Ski. Big trust in Lamar. Allow him to cook. Another Zay Flowers at the top. Here's the other Oklahoma tackle. Anton Harrison at 34. I like that. I think that would make some sense too. If they grabbed, say, a corner or wide receiver with their first pick, then you trade back up and Barmore it for another tackle that potentially falls.
Yeah.
So I like the idea there.
Yeah, I love the trade down, trade up. I've seen a lot of that. I'm trying to see exactly what these trades are. I think it looks like the trade down recouped more than was lost in the trade up. So that's what you want to aim for.
Right.
We haven't talked about Tank Dell a lot since the beginning of this thing. He had a rough combine, but he still is a Patriots fit. I think there were guys that maybe moved ahead of him, but he never stopped being a Patriots fit. I've gotten blue in the face talking about it's a speed league. They need to add speed. He added speed. Added significant speed on the offensive side of the ball here. We've talked about Corey Trice. I like Jair Brown, but they don't take Penn State guys, so that's one of those things.
Jack Campbell's interesting at 60.
Yeah, I was going to double back to that.
Okay.
Jonah Tavai, like a them pick. If it's not DTR on day 3, I do like Clayton Tune probably for them the best. It grabs Michael Turk. Maybe not respecting the board at 243, but it's possible. The Jack, really, I think Scott did a good job here.
Yeah.
Overall, the one pick I look at is Jack Campbell, who is very much a them player, but he's just a big downhill, early down run stopping linebacker. And they have Juwan Bentley, who's going to be on the field a lot.
Right.
They have Jelani Tavai, who can back him up. At the 60th pick, that feels like a pretty significant investment for a guy that probably isn't going to play a ton as a rookie and maybe not next year either. So, look, I could see them adding maybe like a Juwan Bentley backup one of those downhill linebackers, but to do that with the 60th pick feels a little rich for me personally.
Right, I agree. The tank tail's interesting. That's sort of a double up on slot, which I wonder if that's.
I'll just add, sorry, further down, like Anthony Orji from Vanderbilt would be a guy that's an example of the player I'm describing.
Yeah, right. All right, moving on. Mother's Day Flowers, JSN we talked about. All right, what's this?
Actually, wait, go down a little bit. I saw one that I did see when they came in. Is the one with down one more.
This one?
Yeah, I did want to talk about that.
All right.
About this one. Because Madhan, I apologize if I'm butchering your name. He even talks here. He uses our phrase, right, about respecting the board.
Yes.
I thought he did a very good job respecting the board here. The slight trade down with the Steelers. If the Patriots aren't going to take a tackle, the Steelers need a tackle, right?
Right.
If the Patriots aren't going to take a tackle, there's a couple teams after them that will. The Steelers maybe being in position to jump those teams. That's a logical trade partner right there. He takes Gibbs. Rush at 76 would be great. He gets Steen. KJ Henry we've talked about as a potential Patriot. Andre Coburn is a player I really like for that. Like, these are all guys. This is done very well in terms of guys the Patriots would take. Jake Moody. I know some people are asking if I'm out on Moody. It's not so much I'm out on Moody. I just think with Nick Folk back and Jake Bailey gone, it's a lot more likely they take a punter than a kicker. Punter is now a bigger need. If they do take a kicker, I still think Moody's the guy. Got Corey Trice in here a little bit lower, but his range is hard to gauge. Without the Patriots, he's probably a 5th, 6th round guy. He's a guy I could see the Patriots reaching for, though, which is why I don't think taking him in the 3rd or 4th round is unrealistic. If there's one pick here that doesn't respect the board, to me, it's Jackson Kirkland. I think teams are going to value his experience, his positional versatility. He's a high character guy. He's probably going to go a little earlier. But besides that, this one was very well done.
If you can come away with it, go.
I think he got the magic number of 10 players, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's 10 players.
10. Yeah.
Very well done.
This is one of the better ones I've seen. And again, if you can get Kirkland there, it's even better. It might be a little low, you're right. But, this hits everything. You double up at corner, you get 2 weapons, you bring in a tackle who's familiar with the system. Really good. I think it's really good.
I did forget to remind people, PFF still hasn't given the Patriots that 7th round pick that they got for Jonnu Smith, 245. I have to put that in ahead of time before we do our draft. So he does have one more pick here he could play with, or I don't know, maybe that gets thrown into that Steelers trade, but
they're here.
I thought this, there we go. Great. I
You're
apologize
welcome.
I butchered your name before, but good draft, solid draft.
Good draft, good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
All right, what was that one that was just like in a text box?
This one?
This one, yeah. I don't know what simulator this was, but...
No, but we'll take it. Zay, 26.
This is interesting. It's not the overall pick on the number. See that? It's 2-9. It's the 9th pick in the 2nd round.
Oh, okay.
So now we have to do math. I have to guess on some of these.
Flowers right in Washington as a top 3, although it's all offense at the start, I love.
That's excellent. And I'll tell you this, too. Terrell Smith is a real sleeper in this draft at the cornerback position. He's a physical press man corner, had a great week at the Shrine Bowl. I am surprised he did not get as much buzz coming away from both the Shrine Bowl and the Combine as he has. I think he's under talked about. And Mekhi, I'm seeing now he took Mekhi Gardner there, who's a good pick as well. Between those two, I think you're going to get a player.
Yeah.
It's probably a little high on Justin Shorter there in the 5th round.
That was
besides that,
my thing was going to be that's high for Shorter. I think he'll fall, but
Tajay Spears is probably high too. But if they like him, so this is one that as the picks go through, and I'm trying to look at what the trades are. As the picks go through, we're going to scratch our heads a little bit because like individually there's some weird picks. Yeah, but it's like, I don't know what 433 means. I have no idea what that is.
What if I zoom in all the way? No, I'm kidding.
And it's not to knock Devon here. It's a good draft. This is one like individually as we go through, they took Tajay Spears in the 3rd round. What? They didn't go Moro Ojoma? What do they do? Justin Shorter in the 5th round? But like, I think when you come away from it Saturday night, you look back and say, you know what? They did all right. This actually isn't bad. So, interesting draft. And I'll tell you this, you're going to run for a ton of yards behind Darnell Wright and Darnell Washington on the right side.
Yeah, that's lethal. Another JS. Okay. So this is where respecting the board, like I see this all the time in mocks that get sent to me or the ones that I just see.
Yeah.
I just highly, highly doubt that DeJuan Jones falls all the way to 46. Like he gets there in these mocks, and so everybody does it, but I don't think he's going to get there. Like I would, it's a slam dunk if you get him at 46, but I just don't think he's going to be there.
There's one of those every year. I'm trying to remember who there's some linebacker last year that like kept falling at the second-round pick, and it just wasn't going to happen. But PFF had it that way. Yeah, so that's not great. I wonder about Eli Ricks, and I know people see and go Alabama corner, of course, but part of the reason they like Alabama guys so much is they can get a very accurate accurate report on the guy from Nick Saban. Eli Ricks only played 1 year at Alabama. He transferred from LSU and he struggled. He really didn't have a good year this year. I wonder what kind of report the Patriots will get from Saban. They don't draft Alabama guys because Saban raves about all of them. It's because he tells them which ones to take. Right. I wonder if Eli Ricks is a guy that he says, you know what? Maybe he's not the guy you're thinking of. I would look elsewhere. Besides that, maybe a little low on Jake Moody. Solid job respecting the board. We got a Bryce Ford Wheaton pick. Love that. I'll tell you this. If they come away with JSN, Bryce Ford Wheaton, and Kuntz, very athletic offense, very athletic skill positions. So that would be fun. Yeah, that's where I'm at with this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. Again, Tavai makes a lot of sense. The brother connection.
It was Nakobe Dean, by the way. It was Nakobe, who, by the way, ended up falling, but it was because of injury.
He did fall.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Sorry, what were you saying? I keep cutting you off.
It's all good. Just that DTR makes sense in the 6th. I don't know if he gets there, but they worked with him, so it makes sense. Here we go. Trade back 2 to get Paris Johnson at 16.
See, I still think he's going to be the first tackle off the board. I don't think he's going to be there. But we can call that best tackle available for the sake of the argument.
Yeah. Cedric Tillman.
Yeah, so those 2 other day 2 picks there, I kind of just said my piece on Eli Ricks. I do sneaky like Cedric Tillman for them. He wouldn't be my favorite pick for them to make. Again, at that point, just wait, give me Bryce Ford Wheaton. But, good 50-50 ball receiver, definitely brings size. He's not fast, but he's a good athlete. He's a guy, he's kind of like Devontae Parker, and he's a guy that's going to come in, maybe make Devontae Parker expendable this year. Maybe he becomes a trade piece. Certainly takes over next year when Parker's contract is up. So wouldn't be the worst pick for them to make. What else we got here? I've said I like KJ Henry, good character guy.
I love the last pick.
I know Stetson you do. Bennett. Why do you want
I don't know. I just like Stetson.
6-year-old quarterback with a record. What did he do? He won. What did he do? It's college Jimmy Garoppolo. Congratulations. What did he actually do?
So he'll get
besides
Super Bowl.
Be on a team with very talented players? Because I'll tell you this, the Patriots roster relative to the NFL, not Georgia's roster relative to college football. He's going to have to do a whole hell of a lot more if he's here.
You bring in Darnell Washington, and you just rekindle the guys. I don't actually think that Bennett's going to be a good NFL quarterback.
Okay.
I just like to push the buttons because I liked him in college.
Fair enough.
He's a great story. But again,
I guess.
If you took him at the end of the 6th round, why not?
Because you can get DTR there, or you can get Clayton Tune there, or you could get Chase Bryce there. Because you get a better quarterback there. That's why not.
I don't think I like Chase Bryce better than Stetson Bennett, though.
He's a winner.
Oh, so now it's okay to be a winner.
I'm just saying, if the only thing you like about Stetson Bennett is that he wins.
No, that's not the only.
What do you not like about Chase Bryce?
He's a good decision maker.
Chase Bryce, a great arm.
Yeah, no, I know. All right, you know what?
There's no reason to take Stetson Bennett over Chase Bryce, is my point.
Yeah, that's fair. We're going to talk about FanDuel to simmer the W's. No, grand slams, no hitters, and double plays are back, Alex, because baseball's back, and there's no better place to bet on the NFL or the NFL. I'm sorry. There's no better place to get in on the MLB action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and the official partner of Major League Baseball. New customers in mass can get in on this action with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. All you have to do is place your first $5 bet. Sign up at FanDuel.com/Boston. You can bet on all your favorite sports, from the money line to point spreads, player props, and more. They always have the best promos, boosts, everything like that. There's a boosts button. It's a nice big lightning bolt, kind of like we use in the CLNS promo tweets, and they give you all the best boosts, and a lot of the times they hit. And so it's the best way to do it. It's on an It's on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So don't miss your chance to get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. All you got to do is visit FanDuel.com/Boston and make every moment more. FanDuel, the official partner of Major League Baseball. 21 plus and present in Mass. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Hope is here. Gambling helpline ma.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support. Play it smart from the start at GameSenseMA.com or call 1-800-GAM-1234. Alrighty. You looked like you had something to say at the end there.
No.
Oh, I thought we had some breaking
Sorry,
news.
no, I just got a funny text from a friend.
Oh, all right, good. Okay, cool. All right. Back to it.
All right. That's the one we just did, right?
Yes, yeah.
All right. We apologize. We really can't get to all of them. We apologize. I'll be doing another mock draft mailbag this week if you want to try again. Maybe I'll get to yours, but all right. We got a Michigan fan here. We got a Michigan man sending one in. Yes. I'm assuming there's 3 Michigan
Yeah,
picks.
there's a lot of them. Okay.
They've drafted more for Michigan than any other school under Belichick, even more than Alabama.
Peter Skoronski at 14. I don't know what it is about Skoronski. I'm not that high on him. I would rather them go elsewhere. I mean, yeah, his arms are tiny, but I don't know why. I just feel like 14, it would be such a Patriots pick, and I just don't want them to do it. I don't know.
So here's where that pick comes in, is if they use the logic they've used the last 2 years. If they say tackle is the biggest need we have, and we're just going to take the best player on the board no matter what, and Paris Johnson and Broderick Jones go before 14, they're going to take Skoronski's third best tackle. That's what he'll be the best tackle on the board at that point. That's what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. We've got a Kendre Miller pick too. I like Kendre Miller with one of those 4th round picks. Man, I feel it. I feel like it's coming.
Bill was all over him at the TCU Pro Day.
Yeah.
So
again, kind of Ramondre-ish.
Yeah.
That's been my comp. I like Ramondre, like not this past year Ramondre, but like Ramondre coming out of Oklahoma.
Yeah. Tough one here, though, and I don't like it. You can't trade Trey Nixon. Don't trade Trey.
Why would the Niners? Why? All right, I get that's not really how NFL trades work.
You got to throw someone in, I guess. I guess they just have a vendetta against Trey Nixon for some reason. The
Niners just really want a receiver, I guess.
Yeah, all right.
That's probably the first time I've seen Trey Nixon traded in a mock draft. I don't think I'm going to see that again.
No. Jalen Hyatt.
No.
76.
I'm out on Jalen Hyatt for them. I think he's a very, very, very similar player to Tyquan Thornton. I actually think Thornton's probably a little better. And there's just not – you could have them both on the field at the same time, but – unless one of them takes a major leap, it's not going to be that hard to cover. You just put your 2 fastest players on the outside. Is kind of like, when as a kid, he wants a new toy, but he hasn't opened up the other one yet, right? You play with this toy first before you get a new one. Figure out Tyquan Thornton. Used a top 50 pick on him last year.
Right.
Figure out Tyquan Thornton. You don't need to take Jalen Hyatt. You already have him.
Yeah.
Figure out Tyquan Thornton before you add another player like him. So first 2 picks, I could, it's a little bit of a reach for Darnell Wright. This is kind of the same thing. If he's the best tackle on the board at 14, which he could be,
right?
Although, and apparently he wants us all to know that he plays both left and right tackle. Don't call him just a right tackle. He doesn't like that.
Did you see he ended up apologizing too? He came out.
All right, it's not my OT one anymore. He knew teams weren't gonna like that. That's probably the right move to apologize.
He reached back out to the guy and shared the screenshots and basically said, like, we patched it up. He wrote, "Grown men sort problems, right or wrong, all good, Brody." So
he's getting drafted by the Bengals now. Those 2 are going to be like best friends. But
exactly.
I don't love Jalen Hyatt pick. I don't love it. I'll be honest. I know a lot of people around here really like him. I'm not one of them. Sorry, guys.
I love the Jahmyr Gibbs pick at 46. I just have a hard time thinking he gets there.
That too.
I don't know when this one was actually done, but I feel like once how the algorithm changes on PFF, right, with more information, and they kind of make guys weighted one way or another. Gibbs isn't getting to 46 anymore. He might have been at one point, but it won't happen anymore.
Right.
But I'd like it if it gets there. All right. I'm trying to find some with some different guys at the top.
That one's different. This is
Yeah,
different.
it
We
is.
haven't really done this.
No.
It's from Jack.
Yeah, Jack's awesome. Thanks, Jack. Anton Harrison. Oh, okay. Another. Okay. They traded for Adam Troutman.
Evan loved Adam Troutman in that draft. I remember that. He thought he was like the real deal. What are those other picks there? So it's what? 14 for 29, 40. And you know what? I don't know what Adam Troutman's contract is, but if the plan is to just throw a bunch of athletic tight ends against the wall and see what sticks.
Right.
You add Adam Troutman here to take a pick. So he's in, I think is he in the last year of his rookie deal?
Where's he? The Saints, he is. Right?
Yeah, the Saints. He's in the last year of his rookie deal.
Okay.
He only holds like really $200,000 in cap. If you cut him, that's all that's left.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Saints are looking to move him, but sure.
Do they have a tight end?
Honestly,
they have a kid at Jawan Johnson. Right?
Johnson, yeah,
he's pretty good. But
I get it's an interesting idea. I wouldn't have thought of it. I don't think it's like the front of mind. But if you're gonna tell me, all right, we got Hunter Henry, we've got Mike Gesicki, we've got Adam Troutman. Yeah, between the three of them, you should have one NFL tight end. So I guess sure. Man, and then they take Anton Harrison, who I think is a starting caliber left tackle, so that's a good pick.
Right.
I love Josh Downs for the Patriots.
Yeah.
If they hadn't signed Juju Smith-Schuster, and we get into the redundancy thing, because Downs is purely a slot receiver in the NFL. If they hadn't signed Juju Smith-Schuster, I would be talking about them maybe taking Josh Downs at 14.
Oh, God.
Maybe reaching, if JSN's not there, Josh Downs maybe being the second receiver on their board. He is Julian Edelman. He looks like Julian Edelman. Steve Smith, the former Panthers receiver, did a great breakdown on him on YouTube. And the footwork, the route running ability, the ability to go get the ball away from his body, his ability to pick up yards after the catch. The only reason I think he's not a first-round pick is he's a little on the smaller side and he's just a slot. Whereas Jordan Addison and he's not as good as Jackson Smith-Njigba. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the best route runner in this class, but he's the best route runner in the last 5 classes.
Right.
It's not for generational route runner. Josh Downs is the best route runner in this class. Quentin Johnson can play on the outside, inherently more value. Flowers and Addison can be outside guys. They might be slot guys, but they can play outside. Downs is purely on in the slot, but he's so good. He's the exact kind of receiver that comes here and succeeds. I said back in September, if Jacoby leaves, this is the guy they need to get. When they signed Juju Smith-Schuster, my first thought was, I guess no Josh Downs then.
Yeah. But Juju's a guy that they can move around. So maybe they do that and go with Downs.
Josh Downs is that good. I'd still be kind of happy about it. And I'd figure out ways to move Smith-Schuster. They get Brents, who's like my Josh Downs of defense, another one of my favorite players in this draft. Jordan Battles, I think people are sleeping on. I'm not going to say this is disrespecting the board because I think that's probably where he goes. To me, watching him, I think he's a top 50 pick. I think I'm higher on him than most. But I think when we go back and look at this draft, we're going to say he was underdrafted.
Right. I love Mingo here at 117.
What do you like about? See, I keep watching. Everybody loves Jonathan Mingo. Why? Sell me.
I can't
figure it out.
I think he's to compare him to other Ole Miss guys like AJ Brown and DK Metcalf is a very high ceiling, right? But he reminds me of that, that type of size receiver, like aggressive receiver that, runs pretty crisp routes and will get open and just be maybe not a huge yak guy, but a guy that's going to go the extra mile. He's an aggressive receiver. I like what I've seen from him so far in that regard. I just think that he's not the pure slot guy. Obviously, Downs and Zay are too small. Mingo's decent size. What's he, 6'1", 6'2", I think?
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah, so I don't know. I like the idea of a bigger bodied receiver there. Especially at 117, right? You're not spending a top 100 pick on him.
Guess. I'd rather Bryce Ford Wheaton.
Yeah, I know.
You mentioned the Ole Miss guys everybody talks about with him. Oh, he's the next AJ Brown, he's the next DK Metcalf. Where'd Laquan Treadwell go to college?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Right. So those two guys, there's something different when they move. They're just so much more efficient in their movements.
Yeah.
Mingo looks very clunky to me. Maybe I'm not as high on his on the route running as you are, but I'm not sold on him the way some other people are. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think
keep
round
going
4 is
back
late
and
for
looking.
him.
I
think he's going to go earlier than that.
See, I don't see it. And I keep going back because all these people rave about him. It's not just fans. Like, I see draft experts raving about him, and I keep going back and looking, and it hasn't hit me yet. Maybe it will. We got 2 weeks to go, but it hasn't hit me yet. Yeah. No, that's a real thing. There's a player everybody will be high on that, like, I don't get, and I keep going, and it takes like till the 6th or 7th time I watch him, and finally it clicks. Or the other way, I love a guy, everybody else hates him, and then I go back in after a few times, like, all right, I get it now.
Yeah.
So
I want to hit this one quick, only because we've done most of these guys here. But Luke Musgrave at 46. This is maybe what I don't see, or you don't see in Mingo, what I don't see in Luke Musgrave.
I'm with you there.
I think Darnell Washington. I think Michael Mayer. I think maybe even a Zach Kuntz, or I would probably take Laporta over him. Dalton Kincaid, obviously. I don't know. I'm not huge on Musgrave.
Yeah, I think that's high for either.
In this stacked tight end class, like, Musgrave is just another guy for me.
The problem for me with Musgrave is his entire projection is based on upside. He had flashes in 2021 in a limited role, and then he was supposed to break out in 2022. So he started off kind of high because everybody's like, if this is what he did in 2021, he'll have more chances. Here we go. And then he got hurt a month into the season and didn't play. Mm-hmm. So the draft pick is kind of based on whatever potential you saw in 2021. I don't think that justifies a top 50 pick, especially in this class. And by the way, Zach Kuntz is kind of the same thing, right? He had the breakout in 2020 at a smaller school, but he had the breakout in 2021, was supposed to follow up this year and got hurt. They're the same pick to me, Musgrove and Zach Kuntz, but Zach Kuntz tested better, and you can get him 50, 60 picks later.
Yeah.
So the theory behind them is the same. I really don't see where you take both guys. If you really think Luke Musgrave's that much better, you take him, I guess. You could probably wait till 76.
Right.
But I would much rather have Zach Kuntz further down than take Musgrave. Yeah, it's an interesting draft because I love Paris Johnson, but Musgrave's a big risk. We've established that Garrett Williams maybe isn't a fit.
That's high on Deuce Vaughn, too.
It's high on Deuce Vaughn. This is a very small draft.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Musgrave's not small like height, but he's skinny, he's thin. Yeah. Garrett Williams is small, Deuce Vaughn small. They make up for it. All right, Corey Trice a big guy. Zach Kuntz is big. But even a guy like Isaiah Land, and I love Isaiah Land. I do. Like every time I watch Isaiah Land on tape, right? I'm like, where the hell is everybody? Where the hell is everybody on this guy? This guy looks like a top 100 pick. Mm-hmm. And then I remind myself, I go look at his bio. Well, he's playing at 215 pounds because that's what he did at Florida A&M. He's very undersized, an edge rusher. He's quick. Now, he weighed in at 230-ish. I think it was like 234, 235. He weighed still in the 230s at the combine, which is still small. He's going to need to put on even more weight. And then the question is, when you have these guys that need to put on that much weight, look, sometimes, like Marcus Jones is a great example. Came in at 170. You need to put on like 10, 12 pounds. That's manageable. Isaiah Land, you're talking about like 40 pounds.
You can't play the same. You're not going to play the same 40 pounds heavier.
I mean, at all. Sometimes guys can. And that's why in the 6th round, can he?
Yeah,
fair. In the 6th round, maybe he can, right? But, so I like the pick. This isn't to say I don't like the pick, but talking about there's a lot of size risk in this draft. Right. And if this is their draft, my big takeaway is going to be they don't really care about height, weight measurables this year. They just went out and got athleticism because that's what this draft is. I feel like I was hard on Isaiah Land there. I actually do really like him, and I wouldn't be unhappy if the Patriots.
I was going to say hard on him, and it's like, no, I love the pick at 192.
Right, but that's the thing. I love the pick at 192. Like, I liked Cole Strange last year at 97.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, it's one of those where I like Isaiah Land, but I like him as a high upside pick. He's like, what was his name? Remember Byron Cowart?
Yes.
So Byron, it's kind of the reverse. Byron Cowart was an edge rusher in high school. He's the number 1 ranked player in the country. And then he went to Auburn, and for some reason, they were like, you're going to be a defensive tackle here. And he's since admitted he shouldn't have gone to Auburn. It was a mistake. But they had him put on like 50 pounds, and he struggled, went to Maryland, took some of the weight off, started playing defensive end, got a little better, but he ended up as this like weird tweener because his body was in this weird spot. Isaiah Land's the opposite. Like, he was trying to take weight off, but a lot of that came with muscle, and I think it led to durability issues. Whereas with Isaiah Land, you're just trying to get him to put on as much muscle as possible and hope that he's still explosive, even when he's playing it. You know, he's probably got to get to 245 to play in the NFL. He's probably got another 10 pounds to go, and you're hoping he's just as explosive at 245 as he is at 215.
Right. I think that's enough Isaiah Land for this episode. But I agree with it all. But we got to move on. Let's. Okay, this is the one. This is a different one. We have not seen, I don't think, any of these picks today. So this is a good one to go with.
Oh, we got some fun ones in here.
Yeah,
Will. Good job, Will.
Yeah, good stuff, Will. Thank you. I love Witherspoon at 14 if he's there. I don't know if he gets there. The other one I'll say is Max Duggan at 246 is awfully interesting. I don't think they'll do it, but that's another guy. I just loved Max Duggan in college. And Trey Dean
have him than Stetson Bennett.
And Trey Dean at 187. Friend of the program here on Patriots Beat, Trey Dean. He's fallen. He hasn't really been talked about ever since his dud of a combine. He did end up coming out and saying he was hurt.
But then he deleted that tweet.
Yeah, but I still think he had. I think he was hurt. I think he might have changed the wording on it or something like that. But regardless, a guy who we thought of as a day 2 pick now falls to day 3. If you can still grab him, I like it. And Cody Ma, I don't know. That's another tweener guy that I just don't know what they're going to do with him.
Yeah, so, and even Devon Witherspoon, like, I like Devon Witherspoon. So when it comes down to the 14, if they're going to go corner,
yeah,
we've both established, I think we all agree that Christian Gonzalez is going to be off the board. I don't know why he's still in this conversation. He shouldn't be.
Right.
He's going top 10. It's a, what are you looking for question at 14? I struggle to definitively say who's better, Devon Witherspoon or Joey Porter Jr. What do you want? Do you want the technician? Do you want the technically sound, fundamentally sound player? That's Devon Witherspoon. You want the athlete who's maybe a little more raw technically, but he makes up for it because he's bigger and faster. That's Joey Porter. Patriots might not get to make that choice. One of those guys might go. But I think either way at 14, you're in good shape. Mock, probably a guard. Don't love that pick. Marvin Mims might be the most slept on receiver in this draft, and I say that as a fan of Bryce Ford Wheaton. Mm-hmm. My comp for him, I came up with this over the weekend. I was on with Ted Johnson on Sunday, and Ted liked the comp, and it's one of his former teammates, is David Patton, the late David Patton. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, David Patton.
Smaller than you think he is. Like he plays bigger than he's listed. He plays faster than he timed at the combine. He can go up and get the freaking football. There is not a ball thrown in his vicinity that he does not give himself a chance to catch. I know some people might freak out if they wait this long to take a receiver. In Mims at 76 might be a stretch. I don't know how much. It depends how much teams really like him. I think there's some teams that really like him. It's not out there yet. But Marvin Mims at some point on day 2, love that pick. Roschon Johnson, another classic Patriots pick. They have a history of doing this. There's a star somewhere.
Yep.
And they watch the guy that's lining up next to him, and they say, well, we actually like this guy.
Yeah.
So they're evaluating Texas. They're watching Bijan, but then they see Roschon Johnson. They say, well, this guy can play too.
Right.
Classic Patriots pick, and they get him in a much more reasonable spot. Christopher Smith, deep safety. Love that.
I don't know about the double up at safety with Smith and Trey Dean.
Christopher Smith can play some corner. So I don't hate
okay.
And Trey Dean's kind of a risk. You don't know what he's going to be. With those
and I feel like Smith, sorry to cut you off, but Smith's more of a free and Trey's more of a strong. So they can kind of
I think Trey Dean, I still think they like him, even though they had the bad combine. Even though he had the bad combine, I think he's still on their board. He probably fell, but here you go. You get him a lot later. And Max Duggan, another quarterback I would take over Stetson Bennett. Yeah, if they can get him late in the draft, good athlete, high character guy, big arm, very developmental, very raw, but he's one of those, like, I'll find a place for him on my team guys. I want that guy in the locker room. I want that guy in the trenches next to me.
Right. All right, let's hit a few more, and then we'll get out of here.
All right.
Dalton Kincaid as the first pick.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I like Kincaid.
No offense, Evan, but
yeah, sorry, Evan. You move down 3 spots, you pick up a third, and then you take Kincaid. Look, it's been talked about. This tight end class is so deep. So, like, I don't think you need to rush for a guy in Kincaid with your first pick. I like Brent's here, and I like Freeland and Jamie Robinson for that matter. I like a lot of the picks here, but I just think there's more value than there's going to be more value on the board than taking Dalton Kincaid at 17.
Yeah, I really like the rest of this draft. Freeland, Wanye Morris, that's a great pairing at tackle. It's maybe low for Jamie Robinson, but honestly, I think you could switch Jamie Robinson and Blake Freeland. And actually, I thought he took Freeland higher. It's maybe a stretch on Robinson, not super unrealistic. I said my piece on Mingo, but what changed after you've drafted Dalton Kincaid? His ceiling might be higher than Hunter Henry, but year one Dalton Kincaid is going to be about the same player Hunter Henry is, unless you're going to be like an exclusively 2 tight end offense, which they're not going to be. I don't know what this does. Rest of the draft's great. Give me Zay at 17 or give me Addison at 17, and you're really cooking with gas here. I don't love that first pick.
Yeah, I agree. I would have liked to have seen the whole draft go through and see who was on the board at 17 when they took him.
The one other thing you could do here, you added a corner, you added a tackle. Let's say for a second everybody's right about Jonathan Mingo and I'm wrong, and they really feel like they're getting a steal.
Okay.
Take Nolan Smith at 17 here. And that's actually a pretty good draft.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of going
I don't think he's going to get to 17. I think Nolan Smith's going to go high.
He might. I think that's probably about his range.
Okay.
It's kind of like off the charts, but it's so them. We've been talking corner, tackle, receiver, corner, tackle, receiver, corner, tackle, receiver. Would be very much them to take an edge rusher there.
Right.
You put him with Judon and Uche, you're going to be able to cook.
Yeah, that's fair.
In
a contract here for Uche too, who you just let him walk at that point.
This is probably a first where I'm being like, man, because sometimes I'll look at mocks. This happens a lot when I look at other people's mocks, and I see it and I go, change the first round pick, and I love it. And that can be a variety of different circumstances. Yeah. But I think this is the first time I've been like, man, throw Nolan Smith in there.
Right.
And I love it. But like, throw Nolan Smith in there, and I kind of love it. I kind of do. I'll say that.
Here we go.
Did we even get a Nolan Smith one? I don't think we did.
No.
We got so many. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we're up to like 70 something. Let's do
we got Mike ratioed. I love it. Oh, is that a DeJuan Jones top pick? Let me see. I got to see this.
It's at 33. Which?
That's fair. I could see him falling that far. That's fair. But you traded all the way out of the first round. What'd you get?
Where's the 14? Oh, Jerry Judy.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh. So you get Jerry Judy, DeJuan Jones, Tyreek Stevenson, Mike or Max.
Yeah, I like it. I like it too.
Oh, and he took Michael Turk in the 5th. He respected the special teams 5th round.
Yep.
We got Travis Dye as a late pick. Anthony Bradford.
I like this one.
I don't think they'll do it, but
no.
This is very well done. This is well researched. Good job.
Yep, good stuff. Like that one.
Good job. I like that.
Sorry, I'm scrolling through because I want to get through all of Look at how many we have.
Hey, go down. We should do Taylor's.
Yeah, let's do it. Shout out CLNS Media's beat reporter, Taylor Kyles. Here we go. Darnell Wright at 14. Okay. Darnell Washington.
He missed a chance here. He should have gone Darnell Wright, Parker Washington, and then Darnell Washington.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So you go Darnell, then Washington, then Darnell Washington.
Yeah.
He should have
Taylor.
Parker Washington. No, this is I like this because Taylor, he pulled some guys we haven't talked about. I am surprised Taylor's a Stetson Bennett guy.
Let's go, Taylor.
You can bond over that.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about kind of the Darnell Wright, Darnell Washington combo before, like that. I do still like Tank Dell. That's a fun pick. I don't know about him and Parker Washington. I want to go get some size there if I'm doubling up at wide receiver or maybe a tight end.
Well, now you have Juju, Tank Dell and Parker Washington all fighting for the slot.
Yeah, I think maybe like put Zach Kuntz in there. If you want to put Jonathan Mingo in there, put Bryce in there. I think that's a really good spot for Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah.
It's a good spot for Corey Trice. I actually don't know a ton about Anthony Johnson, honestly.
No, me either.
Broderick Martin's a fun player late in the draft. I think he's got a little bit of sneaky upside. Yeah, this is kind of targeted additions.
I love Darnell Wright at 46. I mean, Darnell Washington at 46. If he gets there, I love it. I don't think he's going to.
I think that's probably his floor. I wouldn't be shocked, but he's not getting beyond there. At that point, you might get a team to overpay you to trade up.
Right.
And
want to hit Phil's?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So this was awesome. This is great.
Thanks, Phil.
Sent it to us.
Appreciate you. Phil Perry, NBC Sports Boston, sent in his own. Goes JSN at 14, Darnell Washington at 46. I love that. I think we said that on our first one that we threw in here, too. I like it. I think it's early on Clayton Tune. I think it's very early. But Matt Landers is a decent pick. Evan Hull, okay.
This is a masterclass in what will they do. And it's that thing I always talk about, right? Nobody cares what we're going to do. There's so many great Patriots trends in here.
Yeah.
Corey Trice at 76. It's probably a little high, but reaching for the big athletic corner, check.
Shout out Jawan Williams.
Not taking a tackle in the first 2 days and then doubling up to start day 3.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much what they did at corner last year. They went end of day 3, beginning of day 4, but we thought it was a big need. They passed on it almost in the top 100, and they go Marcus Jones in the late 90s and Jack Jones early on day 3. Patriots trend does that here. Although Bill Belichick's never drafted a guy from Pitt, so we lose it there. 4th round, they like to draft their quarterbacks in the top 150.
Yeah.
Even when they don't need them, even when Brady was here. They like to draft their quarterbacks in the top 150. Boom, trend. Fehoko, Evan Hull, just typical Patriots players. I don't know if Smith-Njigba gets to 14. I don't think he does.
Right.
But even if you want to put Zay in there, this is like such a Patriots draft.
Stidham felt high. Together. Stidham felt high as a 4th round pick.
Yep.
Zappi felt high as a 4th round pick. Tune's going to feel high as a 4th round pick.
But that's what they do. That's where they take their quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah, I was actually like laughing at myself when I saw this, just like, I'm supposed to be the big trends guy. I wish to put together a Patriots mock draft that folds in as many trends as this one does. This was well done.
Am I back? Sorry, I lost connection.
Yeah, you're back.
All right.
I appreciate that Phil did. I think we lost Mike again. I appreciate that Phil did this too. That was really cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
One more.
Thanks, Phil. Shout out Phil Pelly. Yeah. This person added notes.
Oh, I saw this. Well done. Outside of the Stetson Bennett pick. Well done.
Thaning David.
Showing his work. Let's go, David.
Yes. Good stuff. Zay Flowers at 29.
And even's okay if we trash it. That's all. This is great. This is exactly what this exercise is supposed to be. This is fantastic.
Yes.
So
I like it. Kenny Washington walking first down. Oh, I love this one. I love this.
All right, but so is
winner.
So's Max Duggan. I'm just saying. So what are the trades he has at the top here?
So he trades so he trades 14 for 21 and 54.
Which makes a lot of sense. That's a trade I could see them doing.
And then he trades again. Trades back 8 spots, picks up a 2nd, and gives a 4th.
I don't know that you need that second trade. I get you want the extra top 100 pick. I also don't think Zay falls this far. You probably got to take him at 21.
Agreed.
What do we got for that? We talked about Darnell Washington. We talked about Julius Brett. What are his? I can't read them. You got to read his notes on the players.
Sorry.
I feel like we should give him this credit.
Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers. You win by creating mismatches. Flowers just does that.
He does.
If needed, add Trent Brown, Kendrick Bourne, or Devontae Parker to this trade. See, I don't think you need to.
You don't need to make that trade to begin with, and I don't think you need to add a player.
Darnell Washington, red zone nightmare.
True.
Agreed. Julius Brents, long, strong, fast, built for press.
True.
We got to have this guy on the show.
This is great.
Drew Sanders, add 15 pounds and Sanders to the top 20 in this draft. A steal.
So where does he have Sanders going? 54. Okay. And that makes sense. We've wanted them to take that athletic, rangy East-West linebacker for years, and they've had so many chances in so many strong drafts, and they haven't done it. This is not a strong draft for linebackers, so maybe this is the zig to the zag. It's kind of like we talked about Isaiah Land. Sanders does need to put on weight. He's not a good enough tackler. He's simply not a good enough tackler to play middle linebacker in their system right now. When he puts on the weight, there's the question of, does he keep the mobility? If they're going to take an athletic linebacker this year, I like Trenton Simpson better than Drew Sanders.
Yeah,
but I could see Sanders, but there's risk there with his tackling ability and his size.
Right.
As he kind of notes there.
Yeah. Tyler Steen, athletic, smart, knows the system, succeeded in the system, knows O'Brien. That's the obvious one that we've talked about.
Yep.
Jonathan Mingo, I see what they mean with the Debo comp, but he is more. Okay. Bryce Ford Wheaton, 6'4", 220, sub 4'4", great hands, body control, a dog.
I'll say this as a Bryce Ford Wheaton guy. I wouldn't say he has great hands. I wouldn't. Okay. He's great at going to get contested catches.
Yeah.
Like, he's got good hand strength. He'll drop some easy ones. That's why he's a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
I will say, between Mingo and Wheaton, like, people will hate that.
Right.
People will hate that they go back-to-back similar receivers with those two picks. But you're essentially flipping a coin. And, all right, if one of those two guys pans out, you're in great shape. It's kind of like we just talked about with the tackles that Phil did. Not terrible.
Yeah. Jake Moody's not going to get to round 6, I don't think.
No, so we kind of stop respecting the board down here. Jake Moody falls. He's right. Jake Moody would lock up the position for 10 years. But, again, I think punter's more of a need than a kicker.
Yeah.
And I think Kenny McIntosh, like a fringe top 100 pick. That's maybe... Like, that's the bottom end of his range.
Yeah.
I can see it. Like, he's that kind of back. I still like Dwayne McBride for them in that spot if they go running back. Mm-hmm. But it's a logical pick. Like, I wouldn't push back on saying, hey, the Patriots would make this pick here if he's on the board.
Shout out Stetson Bennett, too. He's a winner, baby.
So is Max Duggan.
All right, there's one more I wanted to get to because I saw it in the chat, and I can't find I want to try and find it. And if I can't, I'm sorry, but where the heck is it? Give me 1 second.
Do you know whose it is? Can you do like a Control F?
I tried, and I couldn't. It wouldn't work. All
right. In the meantime, if you missed any of the mocks, we apologize. Obviously, there's so many we had to
there's so many
go through today, and frankly, there's only so many players you can take. A lot of guys, there's overlap, right? We had about half took Zay Flowers in the first round.
Right.
So we're not going to discuss that pick 40 times. We gave our thoughts on that. Can't
find it.
If you missed out, all right. If you missed out,
let's tweet it.
Maybe we'll do another one next week. But I'll be doing a mock draft mailbag this week on 98.5 The Sports Hub, so you can send in there.
I'll sift through some too that we missed, and I'll reply to some on Twitter and give them some shout outs as well. But thank you guys. Like I said, we got let me find the original tweet. We got almost 80 submissions. So I mean that's awesome. We appreciate it. Really do. Good stuff. Thank you. Old Man Mob, that's the guy's name. He's in the chat, and I couldn't find his mock draft. I might not have bookmarked it, but appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Thank you for listening. We'll be back on Thursday for yet another Patriots Beat mock draft. So we'll be back Thursday. We'll communicate it to you guys over Twitter when we'll be back. He's Alex Barth. Give him a follow on Twitter and read his stuff at 985thesportsup.com. Stay with me at Mike Kadlick. Read my stuff at CLNSmedia.com. This show is sponsored by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/Boston. You'll get $200 in bonus bets on us. All you got to do is deposit $10, bet on 5, and you are rolling from there. So join us all at FanDuel.com/Boston. Show them some love, and we appreciate it. So until Thursday, for Thursday's mock draft, we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.